Hey there, everybody. In this video, we're going to talk about how to make your graph for our stress analysis data. So I'm going to show you on my wonderful copy because I have data for both my partners. Now remember, you want to have data for all of your partners put in here. You should have at least 2 people to get full points. Now, in order to make an awesome graph using Google Sheets, I'm going to highlight the cells that I want to be included in my graph. There's a couple different ways you can do this. You can do this by just highlighting the data alone. You can do it by highlighting the column titles with the data, or you can highlight the entire data table. Either way should work. It kind of depends on how you set up your data, but for the way that we have our data table set up, I can highlight the whole thing. And once I do that, I'm going to go up to Insert, and I'm going to hit Chart. After I hit Chart, it's going to pop up all sorts of stuff for me to use and to manipulate. So on the right-hand side here, it says Chart Editor. The chart editor is going to allow me to, what's that? Edit my chart. Yeah, that's right. All right, so because of how we set up our data table, we actually don't need to edit a lot of things. We already have our column chart. We didn't want things stacked, and our series are all selected accurately. So I'm going to go to Customize because there are some things I want to change. Chart style is fine. We just looked at that. But the axis titles is what we need to look at. So first of all, our chart title, it just says Partner 1 Pulse Rate and Partner 2. That's not where, that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't actually tell me what exactly we're looking at in this graph. So we're going to change that. We're going to highlight and escape that. We're going to say the effect of exercise on heart rate. Ooh. And the reason we say the effect of exercise on heart rate is because we're increasing the exercise, right, or the exertion with each time. And then the heart rate, so we should say exertion. Come on, Bird. Exertion on heart rate. So each time we're exerting ourselves with a little bit more, and we're measuring our heart rate based on how it's affected by the exertion. So boom, we have a title. Now, I'm a big fan of bolding my titles. I just think it's fun. You can choose your title color. You can get crazy in there if you want, but make sure it's visually appealing. You don't want to pick something that looks like trash. All right. Sorry, chart title. We need to now look at our horizontal axis titles and our vertical axis titles. So my horizontal axis title, this is my x-axis. It says test number. I'm fine with that. With the way that we set up our data tables, this actually looks really nice for it to say test number. And then it tells me with my subtitles down here what exactly we did on each test number. Now again, for my title format, I'm going to bold and italicize it. Again, that's just a personal preference. Whatever you do, make sure the color and the bold and italicize, just make sure it's easy to see and it stands out. You can even change the font size if you want. My goodness, I'm not going to, that's too much work. So you can go to vertical axis now, because if you look at your vertical axis, there is nothing there. There's absolutely nothing showing for vertical axis. So we need to type in what those numbers represent. And this is our dependent variable. It's what we were measuring, which in this case was our heart rate. And when you type in your heart rate, we don't only want to label what our heart rate is, we want to talk about what units we're using. So anytime you use units in a data table, or sorry, in a graph, you put it in parentheses, and we're going to go beats per minute. And now we have what we measured and what unit we measured in. Every graph you make should have that on specifically the y-axis. You should have what you're measuring, what the unit is. I'm going to bold and italicize. Boom, this is looking like a beautiful graph. From here, if I want to change more things, I certainly can. I can go to my legend, and I can change where it's located. You can also see it says partner 1 and partner 2. If I know who my partners were, you can double tap on that legend in the actual graph, and I can say Miss Berg was partner 1, and Miss Sauer was partner 2. So by doing that, I can bold and italicize. Ooh, I can select this one, and I can bold and italicize. My goodness, it looks fantastic. I can change the color if I want. If you're thinking, Ms. Berg, I would really like to change the color of these columns. I don't want just red and blue. Guess what? You can. Go to Series, where it says Apply to All Series. You're going to skip that, and you're going to choose which one you actually want to adjust. So if I wanted to change Ms. Berg's color from blue to, ooh, maybe I want this like, it's kind of like teal. Ooh, that looks nice. And then I can go to Sour, and then I can change hers. I think I want to do a little orange. Ooh, that's fun. So that's basically how you adjust everything. If you're ever doing a graph and you notice that your data is kind of hard to see, you can go to your vertical axis and you can change the scale. So you scroll down a little bit. I'm going to show my axis line just because I like a nice clean axis. But the minimum, we're always going to want to start at 0. That's something we're always going to do, starts at 0. But you can see there's tons of space up here that we don't use. The highest number we got, if we look at our data table back here, was 158. So I don't need to go all the way up to 200. I can go up maybe to 170. And now I can see that it's filling up the space a little bit more. It's a little bit easier to see the differences between that data for partner 1 and partner 2. And just like that, boom, beautiful graph. If there's anything else you want to change, you do it in this customized spot. Just make sure your graph is neat and easy to see. You should have, to get full points, you should have axis titles. You should have units on your y-axis. You should have 2 partners, 2 sets of data at least. You can do more, don't do less. And you want to make sure your title describes the data that you're looking at. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you have any questions, shoot me an email.